I think I always wanted to write a story about that photo, the little boy dying and the vulture already standing by. You might wonder why that's part of stepsonmyroad.org, which is trying to be an upbeat website encouraging people to choose life. The reason is that I think as humans in the Western world we very often spiral into our own little introspective corner, and we lose that lookout worldview. And I've always wanted to write a story about that photo. When I first saw it, I thought it was a really awesome picture, very well taken. I really wonder the story behind it, and we'll never know. It was just one of a great many people. The point is that rather than brush it off, we have to reflect on the fact that that could have been a great human being. We don't know what quality of person we lost there. It could have been an artist, a painter, a writer, a doctor, a great humanist. You don't know. They could have loved poetry and walked this planet and dreamt and thought. And the most pitiful thing is not just the loss of a human spirit that was capable of feeling and loving. I think the most pitiful thing is that there was nobody there to even comfort this young fellow at the moment of his passing. And that seems to be the worst part of the whole thing. To die young from malnutrition and disease, before you, as a very, very small child, is tragic beyond words. But to be totally uncomforted, to be totally left on your own, that I think is the worst part of that whole picture. The reason I put this story and this image on Steps on My Road is that you'll see me elsewhere talk about yardsticks, and I honestly think as human beings in the Western world, we struggle with our yardsticks, the way we measure, and we tend to go into that introspective little spiral, and if we can only look out, we think we got problems. We don't have problems. There are a bunch of people in this world who got problems. That little fellow and his country and his countrymen and his family, they had problems. We only have opportunities. What we think are big problems and that drive people in the Western world into suicidal depression, they are not problems. I worked around the world, and I worked in Africa, I worked in Congo and Angola, and saw quite a bit and talked to a lot of people. I worked in Papua New Guinea, and my yardsticks during my life have evolved. They've become different. If I'd had a career in the West and maybe lived in a skyscraper all my life and never moved far from my zip code, I know I would measure life very, very differently. To me, this story, letter from my brother, the fictitious letter from my brother, and that photo at the bottom, which is kind of an ambush for the reader, belongs on Steps on My Road, because although we're trying to give people an upbeat message to bring them out of that depression, choose life, cross the stream, life's worth living, at the same time we're also trying to say, if you're really suicidally depressed, there's something wrong with your thinking, and your thinking may need, looking around the world, looking around the planet and seeing how much suffering there is in other people's lives. I think that's a photo I've always wanted to write a story about, and when I finally wrote that story, letter to my big brother, I kind of thought that captured it, and I was glad I did. I'm glad I wrote it. So I hope you see the point. I hope you see why it's included in Steps on My Road, and I hope you see that the point that we think we got problems, we don't have problems. We only have opportunities, and that little fellow, that's just pitiful. So, anyway, stepsonroad.org, choose life, never quit, keep on going, drink the cup dry, and look around you, look at what's going on planet Earth, and share compassion. And, you know, don't just go into your own dark cave. Look around the world. Look at what's going on. We do not have problems. That poor fellow, he had problems. Choose life.